Hey there, sheepdoggers, and welcome to a very special video. Today we're going to be talking about my Dark Heresy campaign that I am GMing over on Metamancer's channel. It's at 12 PM UK London time, so as you're watching this video, in about an hour the show's going to start. So, watch this video very quickly, give it a like. And then head on over to Metamancer's channel. The link, I believe, is down there. But I'll also have a link in the description as well, if you just want to click it. Metamancer. Dark
Hi.
Heresy.
Yay, Heresy. Hi, guys. I'm Metamancer. If you haven't seen my shows, I'm on twitch.tv/Metamancer, and I do pretty much exclusively nothing but tabletop. Tabletop roleplay all day, every day. No, not that much, but a lot. Dark Heresy is my Friday night campaign that we run on my channel. As Sheepy already said, he GMs for us, and it's fantastic and wonderful, so hopefully you guys don't miss it. On Saturday mornings, I like to do random games. We usually play Darkest Dungeon. We've had a good winning streak so far. Nobody's died, so that's good. But on Sundays, I do my Call of Cthulhu campaign, which is actually where I am a GM with some other people. One person from the Dark Heresy show is on there, and then I have other cast members. On Monday, show is about to be done. We're ending season 1 on Encounter Roleplay, so I won't be on that show anymore for season 2. I'm doing something else. But on Tuesday nights, I am on another channel playing a homebrew D&D campaign for 5e, and that is called Myth Dawn. And you guys can find all this information at my Twitter and all that jazz, so I won't go crazy. But the other campaigns that I'm on are on Thursdays. On Thursdays, I play in a City of Mist campaign called 6 and 20 Metropolis. City of Mist is a really cool system because it's very heavy roleplay. It's basically like the Apocalypse. It's off of the Apocalypse system, so it's very open and creative and collaborative. But I really love roleplay and tabletop stuff, so it's like best time of my life, guys. Best time of my life.
Yeah, see, like,
Pretty much.
whenever I'm like encoding my videos and everything, that's always when I'm like trolling around Twitter looking for something to keep me entertained, and your tweets always pop up about your shows. So I think I've been into every single one of your shows at one point or other, just because I see the tweets. So I'm like, oh, roleplay, and I just click on that and I just like dive in. But
it's crazy, the stuff that happens in those channels. I'm like, how does this exist? I don't even know how people come up with some of the stuff that happens. There's some really good creative people out there. What can I say?
Yeah, like segue, like, oh my god, Vandy.
Oh yeah! Oh my god.
Who is one of my favorite all-time tech priests I've had the pleasure to encounter.
Yes, Vandy is amazing. I love her.
So, for those of you who haven't seen Dark Heresy yet, I heavily suggest you go and watch the first 2 episodes. It is amazing. Like, we have an assassin seducing a battle sister. Yes, Metamancer is the assassin. So we have a sister of battle getting into kind of a very flirty. I don't even know how to describe it. It's very fun relationship with a female assassin. We have a super people person tech priest who is really bad with people.
Yes.
We have basically Judge Dredd. McLokin's character is basically, very much Judge Dredd. He's getting his own
he prides
spin
himself on this fact.
Yeah. He's like getting his own spin as he goes, but pretty much Judge Dredd. And a crazy hippies character is a big mutant with a heavy bolter, and he's really interesting. I've been thinking about where his character could go, and I'm actually really excited for that one, to be honest.
Yeah. His last episode was very telling. It was funny though.
Yeah, so his character went into a chapel and basically gave a speech because he was worried that the people on this ship that they're on were getting kind of too zealous. They were a bit open to corruption. And he successfully did the speech, but it was a bit too successful, and he might have his own cult now.
Yeah, maybe. Oh gosh.
And then I think what's Vandy's character's name? It's
Miria.
Miria. Yeah. The tech priest Miria took a look at his heavy bolter and found out that the machine spirit there was very, very angry and full of rage. And it's just like, oh dear.
And she's like, okay, let's just not touch that anymore.
yeah, which I thought was great, you know, because I think, I don't know your exact background with Warhammer 40,000, but you've got a decent grasp of the lore.
For the most part,
it's impossible to, you know, there are some people who have, like, this extensive knowledge. Like, I know stuff, but it's like, I've got a handful of Orc knowledge and a handful of Imperial knowledge, and, you know, you can't get everything. It's impossible.
Yeah, my focus has always been on the roleplay side of things. So whenever I learned about lore, it was from the roleplay books specifically, rather than like, I haven't really gone off and read any of the literature that's been like, what was it? Dan Abbott writes a lot.
Yeah.
And I've seen his books and like, I've glanced through some of them, but I've never actually sat down to read. Though I know he comes highly recommended as one of the core writers for all that. And so for me, like I said, my knowledge primarily comes from the roleplay books. Yeah. However, it's dated knowledge, and I don't know how relevant all of it is. And this is before second ed. Like, I'm talking first ed stuff. So there's like when we were making our characters, and you let me bring in my original assassin, obviously adjusted, but you let me bring her in. I was like looking through the second ed stuff, and I'm like, the fuck is going on? I don't even understand things anymore. Everything's so different.
Well, you see, I'm a rogue trader GM for the most part. Like I've looked over Dark Heresy a couple of times before. I've never actually GM'd Dark Heresy before. Mm-hmm. So I'm coming in and like, not only have I not seen Dark Heresy before, but I've got my bias of rogue trader. So when I'm like, how do you do this, you know, specific thing? I'm thinking Rogue Trader, but Dark Heresy is just very slightly different, so I'm getting them mixed up. But
I mean, it's not a big deal, you know. Like, we decided, and maybe it's a good time to bring it up, is that like, we're not rules mongering in our show, and we're not being overly obsessive about the lore. The idea behind doing tabletop roleplay is always to have the most fun that you can. So if you're coming to our channel to learn all of the extensive lore about Warhammer, it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, and this is very indicative of the games that I run, especially as a GM. Like with my last Rogue Trader game, a lot of my guys know this, Void Barons. We fucked with the lore so much there. You know, one of my characters was an astropath trying to seduce an Eldar Farseer. And there was like a little hint of like, maybe it could work, and he was so happy, you know. And, like, the thing is the astropath. You know, do you know the astropath transcendents? So they get a choir, which is their kind of psyker choir that boosts them.
Yeah.
My player doesn't know anything about doesn't know anything about 40k or its lore, so he's like, can I be a singer, like a musician singer? And I was like, that's not really what it's about, like the whole thing. But you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Sure, why not?
So he used to, for his psyker rolls, instead of using wisdom, he used fellowship. So all of his psychic abilities had a charismatic edge to them.
Yeah.
So he'd summon his psychic powers to sing, and he'd layer his voice with the warp, and it could affect people, like change their mood and this kind of thing.
So he was a Warhammer bard.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great.
Which, you know, it's dumb as hell. And there was one person, great. Like a lot of people watched the show, which was great. Yeah. And one person had a problem with it, and then a couple of episodes later, he's like, you know what? I don't care about lore. This is brilliant. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's exactly how I feel, and that's like, my biggest issue always been in roleplay, not to detract too much, but my eyeball is like, okay. Anyway, but I hate D&D. Like I hated the system. Like I hate the system of D&D. So when I was asked to play on a D&D show, I was like, I really like you guys, but I really hate the D&D system because it feels so constricting. And then they were like, oh no, we're doing homebrew. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm done. It's fine. Yeah. So it was really nice because we did a world building session live and like explored these different things. And each of us took a theme from the world and then created a race and then created classes within that race. And it was like super cool. So I actually ended up playing what you would consider a standard bard. And we use a lot of the standard D&D 5ed like systematic things and the mechanics. However, I'm allowed to like put my own spin on it to better match to the race. So I still hate the D&D 5ed system. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't mind it for a bit of kind of relaxed role playing. I find it to be very simplistic in certain ways, and it's kind of geared towards being friendly, I think. Which I don't have a problem with, but
that's the funny thing is like maybe it's because I started in my role play life in other systems and all of them were percentile. So when I started trying to learn D&D, I was like, what the fuck is this nonsense? What? Rolling 20s, D20, what? But I still prefer percentile systems over the D20 system. And I hate spellcasting in D&D with like a great fucking passion. And I'm a bard, of course I have to be spellcasting.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Like I love the chaotic aspect of psychers in Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000. Just the pure fact that your character can implode with a bad dice roll. It's not a big chance. But the fact that it's there makes that awesome power that is being a psyker so much more interesting. And, I think...
Well, that's why I like the Warhammer system in general is, like, it's degrees of success or failure. Not this, like... It's not an absolute system, which is why I like it, I think, better. Because it feels more... realistic. I know that sounds weird for roleplay, but like it feels more realistic.
There's a certain amount of accountability that you have in like Dark Heresy, whereby in D&D, I can have you roll, and you roll a 10 or you roll an 11 on your skill roll, and I can say congratulations, you passed. The only person who knows what the pass rate was me in my head.
Right.
Whereas on 40k on Dark Heresy, you have your skill number, and you have to roll below it on a 100 dice. And the great thing about it is that I can still give you a pass or give you like an easy way out, even if you fail.
Right.
But you've got the degrees
with consequences.
You've got the degrees of success there, sitting there, going. If you like did a roll to hit someone with your sniper rifle, and you fail, I can't give you the hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas there are instances where in D&D and stuff, like you can be like, yeah, you hit, it's fine. No one knows what the AC of that monster is anyway.
Yeah, but there's also that's my problem is like, and I've had these tangents before with other people about like. My dislike for the general idea of how D&D is. And this is what I tell people who are trying to get into roleplay is like, don't listen to me because I have a bias. But if you really want my opinion, I would say play D&D if you want to feel like a superhero 24/7 or fail miserably all the time because your GM decides that they want to give you monsters that you can't possibly beat. Or play a percentile system where the odds are definitely stacked against you, but everything is at a certain degree of success or failure. Yeah. And that to me is more enjoyable than, oh, sorry, you were one away from the AC, you can't hit it. I'm like, wait, what? Come on, seriously, I hit it real good. It just wasn't good enough. Like, what, do I bruise him or what? Like, nothing?
Yeah,
Really?
that's actually interesting, because in Dark Heresy, to hit someone has nothing to do with the enemy, really.
Yeah.
It's your skills that you
Correct.
have to roll. Whereas you have to beat the armor class in D&D, which,
Yes.
I understand it, but...
It's just silly.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. My brain just is like, this seems incredibly ridiculous. First of all, to increase your HP count, that's just dumb. Okay, first of all, you're born with a certain amount of HP. That's all you get. Like in Call of Cthulhu, you're like, yep, I got 9 HP. That's it. Yeah. When I level up, what happens? Nothing. It stays exactly the same.
Should we talk?
You can't take a bullet better when you're 5 years older. Yeah, okay, yeah. Your body is still flesh.
Should we talk about the character creation and the initial disastrous rolls that the bloke did?
I felt so bad. He was so upset. He was so upset.
Rolled. I think he rolled 3 1s in a row for his skill rolls, and it was. Oh my god, I hadn't seen rolls like that. And then he wanted to be a fairly survivable character, because you're in 40k, you know?
Yeah.
And he wanted to be a fairly survivable character, you know, not a bruiser, but not like a mage, a glass cannon. Yeah. And he rolled a 1 or a 2, I think, for his
toughness, right?
No, well, he rolled really low for his toughness, and then he rolled really, really, really low for his wounds. And he ended up with like 7 wounds or something like that.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know it was that bad.
Oh, it was terrible. And I felt so bad. Luckily, the character sheet that we were using on Roll20 didn't work, so we had to do a new character creation again, and he rolled better. So
yes. And now he's not so sad.
No, well, he is, because you guys still roll fucking terribly. But for the most part,
yeah,
aside from the roles that don't matter that Crazy Hippie does, you know, when he's
the 1 and the 2 is that what? Yeah,
the 1 and the 2. He got a 1 out of 100 and a 2 out of 100, which are basically critical successes. Yeah, and it was for stuff like, can I open this door? You know,
well, okay, he got the 1 on reading Miria's bullshit tech priest, like, not actually tech priest language notes. Yeah. And then they created their own code. And I'm like, you know, we're going to need that 1 later on down the road. And it's going to be gone because you literally got the 1 true critical success in the entire game.
Well, considering the end of the episode.
I know. I'm super excited about that, by the way, but I'm also like, oh shit, we're so fucked.
Well, you know, I'm not known for being a terribly bloodthirsty GM, so you might be fine, you know. Maybe.
But you should be, and I say that because after that episode on Twitter, we went off on a tangent. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
But somebody talked about a Chaos Space Marine, and I was like, yeah, Sheepy, let's do it. And then they're all like, yo, no, that's bad. And I'm like, but I can do it. Give me an Exodus rifle. We'll be fine. Extreme long range.
The Exodus rifle.
And they're all like, but you're going to die. And I'll be like, but I'll die gloriously. But no, they don't.
I mean,
Crazy Hippie did not agree with my conclusion.
I won't say that there will or will not be a Chaos Space Marine.
That's very politically correct of you.
However, I will say that it's not really Dark Heresy if there's no chaos.
I know.
You know, I would say expect chaos. For those of you who don't know what we were referencing, by the way, at the end of last episode, the final line was one of the NPCs who all of the characters hate and are super suspicious of. It's hilarious. He basically called up Metamancer's character, Sybil, and was like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, no good, yeah. So, what do you know about gene stealers?
That was the end of the episode. The literal end of the episode. Yeah. And I don't think my character actually, like my character's knowledge, I don't think extends, like she probably knows of them to some capacity, but has obviously never dealt with them.
Well, I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah.
I would suggest probably not, because she's been dealing with psychers a lot, and other, chaos sorcerers and a few Eldar.
Some Farseer.
Yeah.
Asshole.
It was a Dark Eldar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Eldar Farseer.
Yeah. So.
He ripped off my arm.
Probably not, but if you would like to, this is kind of this is how I like to GM. Is if you'd like to know something about Gene Stealers, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to impose a penalty or anything on that. Because at the end of the day, if you know about Gene Stealers, all you know really is that you're more fucked than you thought you were already.
Yeah, I feel like that's the extent of her knowledge, though. Is she has no idea how to deal with them. She knows that they're really, really bad, and usually you just destroy the entire planet, and then you're good. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Blow up the planet.
So we've talked a bit about Dark Heresy in general and the campaign in general.
Mm-hmm.
We've trashed D&D, as we should.
Shit. Whoops. Sorry. Future.
Fuck you, Critical Role.
Support spell streamers. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck that. Don't do. No. I hate the hashtag. I'm sorry. We'll just rip on everything today.
Yeah. Fuck it. What are your favorite moments so far? Because I've got an idea of one of two of your favorite moments, but.
So I having a love interest EP1 was great. That
was one of the ones I wondered about. Yeah.
Yes.
So to give you a little bit of detail on this love interest here, I made an Inquisitor who I think is quite cool. He hasn't really been featured that much because everyone's drooling over his two bodyguards, who are twin sisters of battle, Adeptus Sororitas, who are bodyguarding him. They both have white hair. One is really bubbly and friendly and a little psychotic, but fun psychotic. I believe she gave you a force or a power stake or something like that.
Yeah, she did.
Which actually came to me later on. I didn't do it with the intent of being like, oh, here, have a power stake. But I was like, that's totally a thing that she'd be like, oh yeah, you like killing psychers too, here's a power stake. And then the other character is very deadpan, very kind of monotonous, and they are called Frail and Daint.
Daint, yeah.
Frail and Daint, which is, very on the nose naming.
Yes.
In a way, but I liked their names.
The irony.
And yeah, the irony. I liked the names, and honestly, the second that they came on the screen, I saw chat go a little bit nuts for them quite quickly, and Metamancer and Vandy also went nuts for them instantly, and I could almost hear Metamancer being like, "Dibs."
That's exactly what fucking happened too.
Yeah, and I had no plans for any kind of romance or anything like that, but as the characters were conversing, it was literally just like, yeah, okay, she's gonna ask her out for a drink and dinner and what have you, and then it just went from there, and I had no control over it, literally. It was.
Well, if you'll notice, this should have been an indicator to you when me and Sybil and Miria both were like, Ward, who's this person? He looks cool. And then it turned out to be a dumbass, but still, we were both like, we're interested in figuring out more information here.
Yeah.
So you have two female characters that are
crazy,
prone to what's romantic inclinations,
flirting and.
Didn't
you? Who was it? Your character flirted with to try and get somewhere.
Ward.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It was, you tried to.
And I failed miserably.
Yeah. Even though he was drunk as well, and it gave you a bonus for that.
Yeah, I know. It was bad.
God.
My character doesn't have good social capability. She's a Moritat assassin. You can't expect that much from her. Come on now.
Which before even starting the campaign, when we're in character creation, one of my favorite moments is talking to all of the players and being like, so, are you looking for more combat encounters, or are you wanting to explore the RP? What are you looking to make here? And everyone was like, RP all the way. We love RP. And then just shows how much they know Dark Heresy. They went immediately into combat skills and no social skills at all.
That doesn't mean we cannot be.
They're all like, it doesn't matter if we have to investigate something. I don't want to fucking die.
Yeah. Well, maybe we metagamed a little bit on that.
I mean, the characters are great, so it doesn't matter.
To be fair, I pulled exactly the same stuff from my original character. So my assassin, Sybil, for those of you guys who haven't been on the show before, she's an OC, like way 7 years ago OC. And I got very attached to her when I was still like in a campaign running with her. And we had progressed pretty far. I was like 3rd or 4th tier in my elite advances, which works completely different in second ed, by the way. But that aside, I was a massive badass. And like, I was like, I really loved the assassin class in Warhammer. And I was like, I really want to play her again. And she actually, so I pulled her initial experiences into her as like part of her backstory, and then, you know, reset her to level 1, so to speak. But the whole thing with the Dark Eldar Farseer, I slightly modified, and in her previous life, she tried to seduce him, and he was like, no. But I got brownie points because I was like, I'm gonna touch your sword. And I did, and I managed to roll my willpower saves successfully. So I didn't kill everybody on the ship. And then he was all like, okay, I'm impressed, but no.
But still.
It was still no. So I took that kind of experience, and I was like, how about instead of her trying to seduce a Dark Eldar, that he actually instead tries to kill her and rips up her arm? And I'm like, that makes for a good story.
Yeah. And like, one of the things I love to do when I'm making characters with my players is I like to give them something outside of the book to a certain extent, something, you know, unique for their character. And what we have for Sybil is she's very one-minded when it comes to work and to assassination. So if she's on mission to kill someone or to do something very specific, as long as they pertain to the mission, she gets bonuses to shoot, to hit. She gets bonuses to ambush. If they're not on mission, she gets minuses.
Yeah,
which I think is very suitable for her character, and I think it just gives a little bit of spark where, you know, it makes the character a little bit more unique. I like to make the players feel like they have a little something that makes their character special. It's easier to kind of bond with your character and get into them, I find.
Yeah, I think it's great though, because it's such a really useful RP element. So like right now, you'll probably start to notice it more now that we're like actually getting into a real mission. Yeah. But you'll notice that Sybil didn't assassinate for herself. Like the first episode, she's like, Arbiter, like, let me know. Am I like, I have these targets. What do you want me to do? Like, she immediately asked for orders. Yeah. And it's not because she's a soldier. It's because as an assassin, you're told this is who you kill. And so her immediate default was, the person in charge here isn't me. Yeah. I'm doing this for the Inquisitor, and the Inquisitor charged Arkiel to do this, so I'm going to defer to him as commander.
Yeah, he gives the kill orders. And,
right.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what it was, and it was perfect that he let me, like, he asked me to kill them, because I was like, yes, finally.
Get to be some badass Sybil again.
God, it was so fun. Like, it was, like, instant resurrection, like, takes me back. Even if it was first ed, it took me back. I was like, this is exactly how I remember it feeling, me killing somebody in one shot. Oh my God.
Okay. So let me guess. The other another favorite moment is the Vandy / Miria doctor scene.
We talked about that last time, right?
Yeah, at the beginning of the second episode.
Yes.
So Vandy's character Miria is a tech priest who, when she joined the Inquisition, she mentioned in passing that she was interested in biology and in human anatomy and things like this. Now, her character is terrible. We've had scenes where she's mistaken feet for eyes, you know, arms for legs, ears for hands, you know, all this kind of stuff. and she got made to be the medicus, or the kind of the healer of the group and of the Inquisition. You know, so in the second episode, we start with a scene of her having to fix people, and it starts off okay and very quickly goes off the rails in a beautiful way, where you're just like, I was usually when I'm playing as a player or when I'm GMing, I tend to be able to keep my cool and a reasonable straight face. I'm pretty sure I was cracking up most of that scene.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you try to be professional, but sometimes people use mops and pipes in weird way in surgeries, and you get
phrasing.
Yeah, you get what happened. Which
was good though.
It was beautiful.
Because I'm pretty sure that dude's dead now. So
I mean, that was the funniest part about it, I find, is that not only was her character like really enthusiastic about healing these people, Vandy herself was very earnest and thought that they would survive. They got taken straight off. They wanted them stabilized so they could interrogate them. And she was like leaving her cards in their thing, being like, whenever you need a doctor, call me. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are dead. Like, there's no way they're surviving the interrogation.
Yeah.
Oh god. And then like I think like a couple of scenes later we were talking about it, and McLokin was like, you realize those guys are dead, right? And she was like, what?
Yeah. She looked so distraught.
Yeah. No,
it was good.
And I'd say the like for me, my favorite scenes are probably the one with the child, the non-player character child who was randomly come across.
The little girl that you were voice acting?
Yeah. So I noticed, like, when I'm GMing, it's hard to pay too much attention to the chat, because I always have to be listening to whoever's talking and, you know, be ready to jump into a scene and these kind of things. But I did notice when I was doing that little girl voice and child, you know, the voicing it, I noticed people in the chat being like, why is Sheepy so good at little girls? Like,
yeah, I remember that.
I was like, I'm not. But no, the little child basically, I think it was it Vandy who stopped the kid?
No, it was
it was a roll.
Yeah.
That's right. There was they wanted to do an investigation of the area to find out about a black market, and I had them roll investigation, and then and they succeeded. So I had them roll a random D100. There were only two options that would have been a success. You know, they found someone with a decent knowledge, and one of them was a little girl, which I'd got this chart out before for this, for, you know, if they went looking for the black market.
Yeah.
And so I had to roleplay a little girl whose dad goes to the black market now and then, and she was like, she like went up to the door and banged on it and was like, Dad, it's the Inquisition.
I remember that. It was good. That whole scene was really good.
Yeah. So
that's
one of my favorite scenes, which was just so much fun.
Oh, another one. When Vandy's character was looking for information and found out about the tech priest. What was the tech priest's name on the? It was
Vandis.
Vandis, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Do you know Vandis?" Like literally everybody walking by, and I was just like cracking up because I'm like waiting for the signal to kill these other dudes, and she's just walking around asking people, "Do you know Vandis?"
Like at this point in the story, all the other characters are poised, ready to ambush the black market, and Vandy's character, the tech priest, is walking up and down, and she's like, "Do you know Vandis?" And then I started voicing all the different characters. And I was like, no, I don't know Vandis. And she goes to another, like, do you know Vandis? And then I put on a like vague Russian accent. I was like, no, I don't know Vandis either. She's like, you're from Mars. You're from my planet. I'm like, yes. Oh,
it was.
God.
There's a lot of. I love her character. I'm like so glad. Vandy's pretty involved in the RP community in general, and I knew her from Loke, and I got to like really like hang out with her during TwitchCon, and she's like, I don't know anything about Warhammer. I was like, it's gonna be great, don't worry. And it's been great.
It is.
It's just like I think that what's really really nice to do with people that don't know systems is like, if you have any experience at all in RP, you can jump into a system and learn it. You know, I think where a lot of people get nervous is if they've never done RP before, or if it's live. I know a lot of people like doing live RP for the first time get very intimidated. Yeah. So, but she came into it, and even like her naivety is like perfect though, because the tech priest is so weird.
Yeah.
So it actually plays really well to her role play that she doesn't know some of those things. Yeah. And then of course things that she should know, you know, she gets to learn about. So
I do, you may notice every now and then when Vandy's doing a scene, a little smirk on my face, because I'm looking at a crazy hippie who's a very like lore knowledgeable player and person, and every now and then when she says something, you see him be going like, you know, just has a little head tilt where he's like that's not quite right, but it's, you know, it's just the 40k nerd in him is just like, it's cool. I know.
I totally agree. That's how he was with the tweet about me killing the Space Marines.
Yeah.
It's like, no. I'm like, yeah, we can do it if you believe.
So yeah, Crazy Hippie plays the mutant heavy bolter guy called Lazarus. Very religious. He's forced me to expand my role-playing a little bit into playing religious figures in Warhammer, which I'm not great with, but I feel like I haven't done terribly. And he's I think him and McLocan have characters that are very inward.
Yeah.
You know, so like we haven't seen quite as much of them, but I think that's really interesting because we've had a few little peeks at certain things for both their characters, and it's very interesting as a GM to be able to be like, interesting, how can I make this horrible for everyone? You know, so that should be good. Like McLocan's character is very black and white when it comes to the lore, and that can be fun to mess with. Oh, incidentally, guys, this is 100% my fault. I was supposed to talk about the setting at the beginning.
Oh yeah, well.
But you know, I got distracted by enthusiasm, unfortunately. So the setting is basically the Inquisitorial group has been commissioned by an Inquisitor with a few NPCs who are all extremely dodgy to the players. To me, I know exactly what their deal is, but you know. And they've been sent to a new sector that's recently kind of a path through the warp has been cleared, and they can now go there and explore it. The Imperial Guard have been sent in to kind of have a route around, and they've disappeared. A couple of Imperial Guard regiments have disappeared, and they have to go in and investigate it. There's been rumors of lots of things, including planets devouring people. Which I add every single session, and every single time the players are like, but they're rumors, you know? They're probably not true. Incidentally, have you heard of the of one of the kind of monsters in the 40k universe is a giant kraken type beast that's made out of stone and is bigger than a planet?
No.
Yeah, I found it in Rogue Trader. It's awesome.
Are we fighting one of them?
No. I mean, you know.
I mean, we wouldn't really fight it. We would just deploy the Space Marines.
You'd probably deploy the entire Imperial Navy or something. Like these things are massive. And
I mean, is it a small planet? No, I'm just kidding. A planet.
Yeah, they're giant. They eat ships. Like that's their food.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Seems good.
But no, like that's just one of the cool things that always struck me as like, wow, they went through the trouble to make a Kraken in the 40k universe. That's awesome. So yeah, we're currently they went to a station which is kind of the jumping off point to go into the sector, and they've just started their travel through the warp. I love warp travel because it is weird. In the last in the Rogue Trader I did, Void Barons, they actually came upon a village of people living in like a forested area in their ship that they didn't know about. And there was just a little forest with people living in the trees, and just like an indigenous tribe living in their ship.
That's crazy.
And there was another instance where a demon of Khorne got on the ship during warp travel, was defeated by them after a really long fight, because in Rogue Trader characters are a bit more powerful than in Dark Heresy. And as kind of like a final middle finger, he enveloped the entire warehouse where they were fighting him in flame, so that all that was left was a door of fire, which swore at people as they walked past. So they because he was fighting Slaanesh, basically, like Slaanesh turned up. She had an interest in one of the characters. She basically saved him and said, "Khorne, bugger off." So this wall of fire from Khorne, every time someone walked past, it would call them a whore. So they called it the whore door. And in the end, to offset the whore door, the tech priest left one of his servo skulls there to talk to the door. They ended up having like arguments back and forth.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It was such crazy, but that's the warp. That's why I love the warp, is because you can do stuff like that.
That's super funny.
So yeah, little sidebar for a fun little GM story there. But they're basically gonna go through the warp. They have the cliffhanger from last episode is, do you know anything about gene stealers? So we don't know exactly what's going on, but as of watching this, there's probably about 15 minutes from when this video was released till the show starts. So it might be live now. So if you jump on over, you may find out what Sybil knows about gene stealers.
Nothing.
Only
that we're so fucked right now.
Yeah. So the Dark Heresy show is called Dark Heresy Pyrebrand. You'll have seen the little intro thing, which looks so beautiful, by the way. I love that little intro.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's Friday evenings or night, depending on where you are in the world. It's 12 p.m. midnight UK time. So if you're in Europe, figure it out from there. If you can't watch it live, you can watch the videos of it on YouTube. There'll be a playlist at the end of this video. You just need to click on it. And I update that as Metamancer releases them. It's on Metamancer's YouTube channel, so there'll be a link in the description for the Twitch, for the playlist, and for Metamancer's channel. Go and subscribe to her if you want to watch those D&D shows. Well, those RP shows, apologies.
Yeah, RP shows.
Yeah. And, I think that's about it.
Yeah?
Oh, what time for the Americas is...
Yeah, so if you're in the US, our start time would be at 6 p.m. Central Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
So, yay! And that's right now, because daylight savings time. That changes when that changes. Ugh, I hate daylight savings time.
I know. Like, the time zones are hard enough as it is. But... that means that every Friday, if you're not doing anything at those times that we just mentioned, I've already forgot them, except for the 12 p.m. for me, because... you'll be able to watch Dark Heresy, a 40k RP show, which, let's face it, guys, there aren't enough of, really.
That's very true. No, it's totally true.
So, do all of those things. And,
and let Sheepy know if you want to see more content like this. Because we don't know. We're like, let's try it out and see what happens.
Yeah, and, like, if you want to have us talking about what's been going on in the show or anything like that, we could probably get a few of the players in now and then to talk about their characters and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Like, subscribe, comment down below if you want to see more of this stuff. Yeah. And of course, when you go over to check out Dark Heresy, chuck a like down on those videos too. Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you live on Metamancer's channel right now. Go right now.
Oh, also.
Wait a second. Go in a second.
I just want to say that you can help us or fuck with us if you're on my Twitch channel live. So
That's true.
Point that out there. You guys got to go over there to find out how to do that, though. Okay, I'm done now.
Really. Okay, go.
Run away.